What's up guys? Kevin with On Point Pro Styles, window tinting in Gainesville, Georgia. Wanted to do a video talking a little bit about shrinking, specifically dry shrinking. So I've got a piece of film on this Nissan Altima on the back glass. We're using High-Tech's Classic Black and 20%. It's a fantastic film to work with. It shrinks really nice. It has a lifetime warranty. It's a 1.5 mil crispy thick film. It has an aggressive adhesive. It's also guaranteed to never turn purple. So I use this film a lot. I love it. And it's pretty easy to learn to shrink with because it works so well. So we're going to get a close-up. I'm gonna get my heat gun on high and nice and hot, and I'll talk through what we're looking at, what we're watching for, and hopefully give you a little better idea about how to shrink a glass. Let's get to it. So I've got my heat gun. I've already warmed it up. We're gonna run it on high. A couple things I wanna go over. I've got my trusty silver Sharpie. I'm gonna try to point at things and mark things out as we go to hopefully really show you what's actually happening when the film shrinks. This is the factory side of the roll. And this is the factory side of the roll. This is the end of the roll that we cut off of the roll. Film cannot be shrunk in this direction. It has to be shrunk from the factory side to the factory side. The reason is the film's pulling together as you add heat, and it has to have two sides, both sides, to be able to complete that pull. If you get too close to the side, it's gonna pull one way, it's gonna crease it, it's gonna mess up, it's gonna burn it, it's over. So make sure that you're always, in the event that you might have had to turn the film or something, always make sure that these top and bottom on a rear window or a front windshield is the factory sides. This is dry shrink, by the way. I've cleaned the glass. I lightly misted the glass. I wet a dryer sheet, and then I just smeared the dryer sheet all over the glass and let it dry. Once it was dry, I was able to put the film on it. This allows the film to float as we're shrinking it, as we need it to. We don't need it binding up as we're trying to shrink it. And then when we press it down, it has something to tack to and stay flat. Another thing is we work, for the most part, it's kind of common to work in quadrants. So you would kind of picture this window in 4 quadrants. You start on it doesn't matter if you start over there, over there, over here, it doesn't matter. You shrink this out, and you move to the other side. It's not gonna be perfect because obviously as you shrink toward this line I drew, it's gonna start pulling tension lines into the film, so you might go a little past, you might be a little less. But let's get to it. Heat gun on high always. So I've tacked my film in the center here and locked the center of the film in. I've also directed the film up and down. I'm not doing a full H pattern and locking these sides down because I want to shrink close to the side and utilize this extra film to shrink on. So I'm just more so organizing it up, and I kind of just put in a little smash here on the side. So we're gonna start at the very top. What we're looking for is the tension lines. I call them smileys, or I'll refer to them as smileys. You're gonna see lines doing this, and that's where the film has shrunk and pulled together to create a curl. So we're gonna start at the very top, go little bits at a time. I say 1 inch at a time. I'm using the distance to control my heat. By the way, I'm using a soft card. It's a little more forgiving for creases. Highly recommend. You can use hard cards, but again, not as forgiving. So I'm just gonna run some heat across here. Hopefully your view is good. And we've got smileys. We've got one here, we've got one here, we've got a few here. So this whole area right here is shrunk. Now you want to make sure that you're shrinking the film to where these smiley lines are still a little poofy, but you don't want them to be big poofs. You want them to be sort of tight. But too tight, it'll act like a crease. It's very annoying to push it out. So once you get that far, put my marker away, you want to go, like I said, little bits at a time. So we're going to push all this down, and as you can see in that circle, we're out of this circle. So the next portion, let me get my pen back out. The next portion we want to go to about here. And you see that's maybe an inch, inch and a half. So we're gonna start again. I'm gonna come close to this side, but I'm gonna direct my heat in, and I'm just touching the film because I need this edge to stay flat. I'm gonna add some heat. You can see the smileys right across where that line is drawn. These are a little poofy, so I'm gonna tighten them up. You might get some that start to push up this way because this is all loose film, and that's where those tension lines on the other side are gonna come into play. You just don't wanna go too far. So there we go. This entire section is now shrunk past the line. You wanna read your smileys. This one's kinda doing a hook here. That means that you need to push in the direction of the smiley. So wherever the smiley's lowest, that's the direction it needs to go. So this needs to kinda come outward, and then these just push straight down. So you see I can push that kinda out of the way. So now we're at this line. We're gonna make another imaginary line, about the same amount of film. And we're gonna just add some heat. Keep your distance and just watch it move. You'll see it sort of lay to the glass. You'll see those lines horizontally. And then you push them down. Go little bits at a time. One of the biggest things about learning to shrink film is not trying to get fast and learning to see what the film is doing. So right here, as you get closer to the bottom, this is gonna be your problem point. This is gonna be your problem point. But you wanna make sure that this is further down. The edge of your film is further down than any loose film above it. If it's opposite of that, you're gonna shrink below this sideways finger, and you'll never get this pushed out. So just make sure that this very, very, very edge of the film is pushed down and it's lower than the height of what's not shrunk. You gotta watch for things that go sideways and wants to pinch up. So you wanna kind of pull your heat away and maybe direct it a little. So there we go. We did a whole nother, I'd say inch, inch and a half. We're kind of cruising along here. We've only got the bottom portion, so I'm making sure this is flat again. I'm gonna take another pass, directing my heat in because I'm close to the edge. Direct my heat in and kind of go fast. Just get it to move and then move along. Watching for those smileys. Beautiful. Keep ourselves organized as we go. I'm just trying to keep this tension line up here and not have big bubbles out this way. So as we get closer to the end, we can actually cheat the film a little bit. So we're gonna blow some heat up under the bottom of it here so that the bottom starts to sort of curl and tighten up just a little bit. Just stay away from it, direct your heat right underneath it, don't get too close. You'll start to see it sort of tighten up, and then you can come right to the top and take another pass. You have hot air underneath, hot air on the top. It collapses it faster, especially in those more hard to shrink curves, which are gonna be your corners. So we've made it to the bottom. We've got about an inch, inch and a half left. We're gonna do the same thing. We've got a big tension line here. I'm gonna press that out. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna just heat up this bottom edge, get it to start curling, and then hit these pillows that we created. Tighten it all the way to the bottom edge. And you can see the film tightening up. This is a peak, this is flat, this is a curl. We're gonna push this out. You can see all this right here needs to still have some heat put on it. So we'll add some heat, tighten it up, and push it out. And there you go. So now I'm gonna do the top, and we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna concentrate on this side, making sure that it's going flat along the way. We don't want it pillowing downward. We need it to push upward and be higher than the unshrunk portion. So we're gonna take little bites at it, go across, and there's our tension marks. So we can push those up and out. Remember, you gotta make them, they can't be big pillow tension marks. This is usually the top corners are your hardest part, but the same thing is just stay away from the film, direct your heat in. If you start to see it curl this way, just give it a bump and get it to direct upward. Run some heat across. There we go, we've got another couple inches done. Same thing, I got a little sideways finger right here, just a little guy. I'm just gonna press the edge of this film down, and then I'm gonna add some heat close to this edge, but as long as this is pinched down, you can get away with it. Just be careful. Start with your heat gun a little further away, watch the film move, bring it in slowly. Don't try to go fast. And remember, when you're pushing these smileys out, be careful. Don't drive up into all that bunched up film because you'll crease it. As you get closer to the top, this is gonna be harder and harder to lay down. You just gotta be patient, add some heat, bump on it, get it to go in that direction, and then go across. There we go. We're almost home free. I'm going a little bit further than I probably should. Same thing, making sure it's all going to the top. Nice. Now the same thing on the top as we did on the bottom is we can kind of cheat the film, sort of cheat the process, curl the very edge of the film just a little bit, create those pillows, and then come over top and hammer those out. And like I said, you're easily looking for the film to tighten up the pillows and tighten up across the top edge. Once you see that, press it on out. There you go. So I'm gonna set up the view for the other side. I'm gonna just kind of go, I'm not gonna try to go fast, I'm gonna try to go at normal speed. So if you need to, rewind the video, rewatch it, slow it down. But I'm gonna use the same technique I did it and showed you here. On that side, I'm just gonna stay quiet. I'm gonna kind of cruise through it at a decent pace. So hopefully, without me talking, you better see what I'm talking about. Okay, got you a little closer on this side. Heat gun on high, nice and hot. Like I said, I went a little further past the center, but same thing's gonna apply. So, like I said, if you need to, rewind this, slow it down. I'm not going as fast as I would if I was tinting a customer's car, because I really hope to give you a good view of what's happening when this film is shrinking. I see something I can talk a little bit about. As I came here, I don't know, hopefully you can see it in the picture, this is curling this way. This is bad news because, like I said, if you continue shrinking, you're gonna shrink this portion before you shrink this, and then pushing that out and getting it shrunk is gonna be very, very difficult. So you really wanna move that over so that it's not creeping this way. So I bumped that out of the way, so now we can go and put some more heat. As you can see, I'm sort of organizing as I go now. I'm gonna cheat the system, curl up the bottom. There we go, and then shrink out the pillows. There we go, same thing. Little bits at a time. You also want to make sure you're fully shrinking the film. Don't prematurely press it flat. Make sure that you're actually putting heat on it. There's going to be places that it's hard to tell if it needs to be shrunk or not until you put heat on it. So be sure to really try to go over all the film. So same thing here, I'm curling my card, turning my card sideways, I'm bumping this in because I need this higher than here. Add the heat here. Now we're at time to cheat it a little status. Same thing, still gotta keep this flat even if you're cheating it. Now we've got the pillows. See, I got a little sideways finger. Just gonna flatten that out, push it up. So now we can pull out these. I put a little crease in it from talking. There we go. If a crease does happen, you get a real small crease, lift the film, pump some air under it, add some more heat, and usually you can push them right out. Seal up our edge. And there you go. So that's pretty much it. I know it's hard to learn anything from just watching a video, but I'm hoping I explained some things to watch out for as you practice this skill. It won't happen overnight, probably won't happen in a week or a month, but keep practicing. Look for the things that I discussed. You may come across some other things that I'm just not thinking to show you right now. The biggest thing is understanding how the film works, what to watch for, basically what we call reading the film, and then how to react. Biggest point, or the biggest takeaway I can say is concentrate on keeping your heat high and hot, but away from the film, and slowly allow yourself to progress closer and closer to the film. The closer you are to the film, the faster it's going to move. So when tinters shrink a back glass fast, because they know what to watch for, it's almost second nature. So anyways, that's the dry shrink method. The film was Hi-Tech's Classic Black in 20%. Excellent film. If you haven't tried it, get your hands on it. Kevin Ryder with On Point Pro Styles, window tinting in Gainesville, Georgia. If you need any help, reach out to me. Check me out on all the socials. Feel free to ask me questions. I'm a busy guy, I run a shop, but I'm happy to help when and where I can. So see you on the next one.